Trump's morning meltdown. Did the president just tweet his most shocking attack yet? Find out who his target was and how they hit back. J-Law gets her claws out. What made Oscar winner Jennifer Lawrence start howling at the paparazzi? Plus, Oscar winner and Despicable Me 3 star Julie Andrews.
These are my diving instructors. Ciao, boys.
Get ready for Hot Topics with Whoopi, Sunny Hostin, Joy Behar, Sarah Haynes, and Jedediah Bila. Now, let's get things started.
Before we get started, can I just say Julie Andrews is on Sunday? Woo! Oh!
She loves her.
I do. Anyway, now the other stuff.
Not Julie Andrews.
Not Julie Andrews. You remember we told you that tweets from the new guy are supposed to be considered official White House statements from now on, right? Well, here's the latest.
Oh, God.
And I heard poorly rated Morning Joe speaks badly of me. Don't watch anymore. Then how come low IQ crazy Mika along with Psycho Joe came to Mar-a-Lago 3 nights in a row around New Year's Eve, insisted on joining me. She was bleeding badly from a facelift, so I said no.
Wow. Oy, oy, oy. This is from Trump.
So with healthcare and Russia and a travel ban, this is what the guy who's supposed to be running the country is tweeting about? This is what he's tweeting about?
Aren't you beaming with national pride?
It just makes him sound so ignorant. Like when you can't beat someone with a point or information, so you have to go to name calling. It's a race to the bottom and no one wins. I wouldn't have replied the way Mika did, though. She replied with a box of Cheerios, and it said "made for little hands," which I did laugh at. But then I moved on to the idea that let him hang himself. Let his words be the ugly ones, because that's not where you go. You don't go down. Like, keep the game high, as they say. As
they go low, you go high.
Because it doesn't make anyone look good. I would never compromise my integrity to play on his level.
I know, but the Democrats are always going high, and then he keeps winning.
There is a difference, though. Mika is not the president of the United States.
Yeah,
like she's a commentator. She's being funny. He's supposed to be ideally. He's supposed to be above all of that. Yeah. And there have been many presidents, Republican and Democrat, President Obama, President Bush, I could go through the list, that get criticized by the media, and they don't act like this. This is embarrassing because other countries read this Twitter feed, and there's a lot of people out there that are defending his policies, and they look at this, and they're like, come on,
well,
man.
You were yelling.
Come on.
She was yelling in her dressing room, are you kidding me, when they read her the tweet. And the thing that's terrible is that it's going to be in the National Archives.
Yeah, this goes in.
It's going to be in the library.
It's going to be in the...
It'll be in the presidential
library. But, it's interesting that he talked about her facelift, because he had scalp reduction surgery in 1989, and he had waist and chin liposuction.
But, so now we're doing exactly what he just did.
Yeah. I don't mind doing what he just did.
I know you don't mind.
No, I don't either.
But the whole point, well, but then your point is gone. Because your point is you're the guy that's supposed to be running the country.
No, she's pointing out the hypocrisy.
I'm pointing out the hypocrisy that he wants to talk about a woman's plastic surgery, and he just did the same thing.
What about he's pointing out her IQ? He didn't even know Frederick Douglass wasn't dead.
Was dead.
That Frederick Douglass was dead, right? And that he doesn't even know how to spell tap. I mean, he's the one who's not that bright.
How do you look at your son Barron and say, like, typically a parent leads by example. The idea that you look at even your child and then children around our country, and you're saying it's okay to talk like that.
You want to be called by the moniker I will never call you by, because I will not bow down to somebody who should supposed to be leading my country. Supposedly, I should be looking to this person to see where I'm wrong about who you are. And this is what you're tweeting? Dude, you really need to get your act together.
No, but then
you need to get your act together, you know?
He also talks about, you know, how the press, they're like, what's her name, Sanders, the Sanders Huckabee woman.
Oh, Huckabee.
She's carrying on about how the press is constantly on him. Well, this is the reason. He gives material on a daily basis to talk about. And they say, well, why don't you talk about his accomplishments?
He hasn't done
Name
anything.
them, too.
Yeah.
I mean, Neil Gorsuch, they keep saying the Supreme Court guy, but that was manipulated by Mitch McConnell, so that's not even an accomplishment. And now this immigration thing, let's see if that's
Well,
an
that's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
He should be tweeting about the new travel ban because people are having trouble figuring this out. Stay with me. The new guidelines say close family will be allowed in, but the definition is a bit sketchy. Parents and in-laws, yes. Grandparents, no. Sons and daughters-in-law, yes. Brothers and sister-in-law, no. So how do you define, if someone was raised by their grandparents, why wouldn't that count? See, I don't understand. This is insanity because you're making definitions for people's family who you don't know anything about. How do you know who is close family to somebody? This makes no sense.
Well, it's very confusing, too, because what if someone doesn't have parents and they, like you're saying, was raised by their grandparents? I understand the intent, I think, is to not allow, if you're going to make restrictions, you can't have someone saying, well, I'm going to the United States to visit my grandparents,
Third
sister's,
cousins.
brother's, daughter, who I was close with. So they're trying to put some parameters. But I also realize what you're saying, that if you look at this, you don't know the dynamics of each individual family. Just because someone has parents may mean maybe they don't have a relationship with their parents at all, but they spent the last, 25 years with their grandparents. So I don't know how this is going to be implemented.
And they cut really
I'm not sure.
close. I mean, like I think they let step siblings, but not half
step siblings, but not grandparents.
It doesn't make any sense because no one knows who is in your family. No one knows what makes your family.
What's terrible is this is a U.S.-based regulation, right, or definition. And in the United States, I mean, 7% of children under the age of 18 live with their grandparents, were raised by their grandparents. I was helped raised by my grandparents. And so for this to be coming from the United States, when I have parents, but for this to be coming from the United States, which is, how we live here, I'm very surprised that they would.
Can I say a word about Canada? Because Canada does something completely different. First of all, they have twice the number of immigrants than we have. And since the 60s, the immigrants in Canada have been let in based on economic grounds. They've been evaluated on age, education, job skills, and their potential contributions to the national workforce as opposed to race, religion, or ethnicity. As a result of that, half arrive with a college degree. And Canadian immigrants are more likely to own their own homes and are less likely to be living in poverty than immigrants in the United States. And 82% of Canadians think that immigration has a positive impact. Now, that is a different, I'm not saying, that's a strict rule. So they only allow people who are either very smart, very educated, and contribute to Canada.
They are fleeing.
But what about refugees?
They have that also.
They have different rules for it, but it's better done.
See, I hear what you're saying, but if we tried to implement something like that, I guarantee you would have people coming out and saying that's discriminatory. You're only taking the best and the brightest. You're not taking people that have education. So I think what we're trying to do.
I'm just saying that this is working for Canada.
Yeah, right. But I don't know that would be supported here.
If you're coming from a country that doesn't allow women to get educated, it becomes a little dicey. So there's a better way to do this. There just is. There's a better way to do it. And as I look at our audience, I know a whole bunch of y'all come from immigrants. Second and third generation. We're all, at the table too. So, and if you do a little history, see how people responded to the group you came from. It's going to shock you when you see
They don't want anybody here.
They didn't know. They kept saying, you know, if you're Irish, you can't come in. If you're Italian, you can't come in. If you're Greek, you can't come in. Nobody could come in except the people who were here, and the people who were here, they only wanted them over there.
Well, and they were kicking them off their
That's right.
homeland.
Well, unless they needed you to do a job. Then, like, the Chinese built the railroads, you know, for example.
Yeah, but they put them out as soon as they were done. It's a whole thing. We'll be right back with more Hot Topics.
Tomorrow on The View, we're fired up for...
It's Friday, yes!
Oh, yeah. And we're serving up the hottest topics.
That's good.
So get ready. Things are gonna get hot. Tomorrow on The View on ABC. Later, Oscar winner Julie Andrews talks about getting in touch with her despicable side.
CNN is under a lot of scrutiny right now, and some people are claiming that they were using Elmo to push political propaganda about the Syrian conflict. Take a look.
Did you find that the Syrian little girls and little boys were a lot like your friends here in America?
Yeah, they really were. It was very interesting because they like to play and learn, just like Elmo and all of his friends at Sesame Street. Elmo's new friends in Jordan told Elmo that they had to leave their homes because it wasn't safe for them to stay. And that made Elmo really sad, and sometimes I'm a little bit scared.
Yeah, so, you know, Elmo is not pushing a political agenda. Elmo does this all the time. He was a big advocate for Tara, the 9-year-old girl in the wheelchair, when they introduced her on Sesame Street. Lily, who a food insecure Muppet who sometimes goes hungry because of her family's financial situation. 2003, they introduced the first positive Muppet, HIV positive Muppet, named Cammy. I just did a whole thing with Elmo about Syrian children and refugees. And the thing about Sesame Street and Elmo is they don't care about your adult BS. They're talking to the kids. And when kids come here as refugees, Elmo wants kids who already live here to know that they are children just like they are.
So what's their
That's
problem?
the idea.
What's their problem?
I think because CNN is, you know, in other doo-doo, they just assume that everything they're doing is crap. I'm sorry, this is not the case with this.
A human campaign. This is the most innocent among us, and I think remembering the humanity in it. This isn't about, regardless of what side you're on, I think anybody can look at that and say, kids need to remember there's, and just like these characters they've rolled out, we're more alike than we are different.
Yes.
And that's how you raise the next generation on the heels of, I hate to bring it up, but a president that's tweeting about a crazy person on TV. You need someone to guide them. You need someone to teach them that this is what it's about.
Also, like Sean Spicer is, you know?
Sesame Street, actually. Sesame Street is very influential. There was a 2015 study that found that kids can learn just as much from Sesame Street as preschool.
Yeah.
Just
They do
as
learn
much.
everything,
Yeah.
ABCs, then numbers.
I think this is more of a battle people are having with CNN than with Elmo.
Yeah.
But one of the concerns that people were, one of the people.
Nobody should be.
But and also another thing is this is about the children, which is not what the debate about the travel ban is about. Or we should all be able to come together, whether you're talking about children that Assad has committed a genocide against, or you're talking about children who are refugees. That is a coming together moment, or should be, for everybody.
Unfortunately, they're attached to their parents according to these rules.
Right, okay.
Well, not if they're stepchildren.
Oh, yeah, right, exactly. But I mean, that's the problem.
But I think one of the conflicts was that the organization that Sesame Street is working with, the International Rescue Committee, the CEO of that committee, sometimes people feel he does make it political and does talk about policy related to the
He
family.
may do
That's
that.
Not
That's
Elmo.
not what he was doing here.
Yeah. Right.
And that's what I'm telling you.
I
And
agree.
quit trying to drag everything into this box of political. This is about kids. And if you know, whether it's kids here, kids around the world, kids need your attention. They don't care about your politics. They just want to be safe and feel like they're okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's true.
But we were talking about CNN. Van Jones also is taking heat after conservative undercover operation Project Veritas. Oh, yay. Leaked this video. Take a look.
What do you think is going to happen this week? I mean, with the whole Russia thing.
The Russia thing is just a big nothing burger.
Really? You don't think that...
There's nothing there you can do.
So they went undercover to get him to say you know, what he thought. So what did he say when you talked to him?
I called him.
It's a big nothing.
Yeah, I called him today. There was more to it. I called him today, and he was really disgusted that he was taken out of context, that he was surreptitiously videotaped. And he said, yes, I said Russia is a nothing burger. There's nothing you can do because there is an ongoing investigation, because Congress, you know, the Congress is run by the Republicans, the White House is run by the Republicans, Senate run by the Republicans, but he had also just videotaped something a week earlier, and we have that clip that explains his position.
I think Democrats are fooling ourselves if we think that something's going to come out of this investigation and somehow it's going to end the Trump presidency and make everything better. Unless there's a real smoking gun, which there's probably not, it's just going to be a big old mess. Meanwhile, we're not talking about jobs, not talking about poverty, not talking about solutions, not talking about the addiction crisis. Let's talk about our stuff.
So that was his point. And I think what we really need to be thinking about is why is the White House in particular embracing a known fraudster? This guy O'Keefe is known to do these sort of surreptitious videos and to edit it inappropriately.
Well, this is the man that did the Planned Parenthood thing.
Yep. And the Acorn one. And he was sued and had to pay $100,000. So why is the White House embracing this?
Because it said exactly what they wanted to hear. So it's not considering a source. It's perpetuating a message.
So just because even if they don't find a smoking gun and this investigation leads nowhere in terms of impeachment, it doesn't invalidate the investigation. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Everyone in this administration is involved with Russia. Let's find out why.
Yeah, I agree.
Americans should be concerned about this. I don't know why they're not.
I think they are.
What?
I think they are.
You think so? I'm not sure that Americans...
We're going. We'll be right back.
The Supreme Court said they would hear the case of Jack Phillips, who violated an anti-discrimination law by refusing to bake a wedding cake for a gay couple back in 2012. Phillips claims that his religious freedom was violated, and he'll be here tomorrow to talk about it. Are his rights being violated here?
I don't understand how his religious freedom is being violated just by him baking a cake. He's not endorsing the wedding. He's not officiating the wedding. He doesn't even have to go to the wedding. I don't understand that bracket of why they say, like, if he says, okay, well, gay marriage is against my religion, then I would ask him, do you screen people at the door and ask before you bake a cake, are you having premarital sex? Are you living with your partner
we can ask
in
him that
sin?
Tomorrow.
Are you, because there's so many things. Are you following the Ten Commandments every day?
Here's the thing. Here's the other thing. Well, your religious freedom allows you to say, I'm uncomfortable with this. It does not allow you to discriminate, because it used to be, you know, and this goes to this idea that there's this war on religion. There's no war on Christianity, no war on religion, because you get to believe what you want to believe. The problem is when you start telling me I'm not allowed to believe what I want to believe. Now, if you're in service, you need to put on your door, I'm not going to do this. See, but you don't want to do that because you know that it's against the law to discriminate against folks.
I'm a little on the fence on this because, you know, the freedom of religion is your constitutional right. And I wonder what happens if you're a Catholic OBGYN and someone wants to come to you for an abortion. Are you forced to perform that service? I own a restaurant. Let's say the KKK decides that they want to rent out our party room to have a KKK party.
Do they have a KKK party?
Yes.
Yes, they do. Do I have to rent it out?
Here's the thing. You as a restaurant owner have the right to say you can't come in my restaurant with no shoes, you can't come in my restaurant with this or this or this. You have the right to say, I'm not going to let you come in and do that. So that's different than saying I'm not going to serve you.
I'm not going to make a cake for you.
Right.
He's in the business of making cakes, and this guy...
No, but that's his, he is allowed to say, I don't want to do it. But you need to put it up on your door.
But that's the thing. Let's say he puts it up on his door.
That's right.
And says, this is a Christian establishment, we don't do ABC. Are you then discriminating against his religious freedom by now not going to his bakery?
No. Listen, religious freedom means you're allowed to be whatever religion you want to be. I don't have to go in. Just like if you don't serve the food
against someone because of their beliefs.
I don't have to shop there. There's nothing saying I have to go shop
now
there.
Won't shop for Ivanka Trump's clothing.
Listen,
like,
if there are places that say, nigga, don't let the sun set on your ass here, I don't have to put up with that on a door.
This is my feeling that this is the distinction you're making.
One quick thing. Yeah. He also, because of his religious beliefs, doesn't make adult-themed cakes. He doesn't give Halloween cakes.
But is that on? Does he have a list of stuff that he doesn't do?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
I want to say gay people can't come in. Be prepared.
He will sell other products to them, just not wedding cakes.
Just not wedding cakes.
But I think it's important that he advertises that, because if he won't bake a cake for my brother's wedding, then I don't want to give him any of my money, and that's the power of me as a consumer.
Are you discriminating against him?
I'm taking the same Christian judgment he's placing on my brother's legal rights to marry whoever he loves.
Is he placing judgment, or is it his belief?
It's a judgment.
He's judging. He's judging.
If it's wrong with God, God will let you know when you check out. But if it's not your place to judge. Yeah. And to me, I 100% believe as a consumer, my dollar is my power. And I want to know as a straight person that you're not going to bake the cake for my brother, because there are plenty of bakers.
So let me ask
you this. You're saying if a guy doesn't
I'm still on the fence on this.
Okay, well, I'm
trying to think through it legally.
Well, think through it legally, because here's the thing. If you're not allowed to discriminate, you're not allowed to discriminate. You can't discriminate based on religion. You can't discriminate based on sexual orientation. You're not allowed to discriminate. And if you're going to do that, the door then opens, and then these questions flow in.
Can a Catholic doctor be forced to perform an abortion?
If a Catholic doctor is in a hospital that is being funded by regular people, and it's not a private hospital, maybe, but I don't think most doctors will say, I won't do this for religious reasons.
I know many Catholic OBGYNs that will not perform abortions.
But you don't go to
their right. Sonny, I don't think that Catholic hospitals perform abortions.
They do not.
No, they do not. But there are Catholic doctors that are in private practice that will not do it. I know several
doctors. I'm talking about if I go to the hospital.
He's in private practice,
She's
Baker.
correlating it with a private. See, I get what you're saying about a private business.
I get what you're saying,
I don't
but
understand.
I'm saying you cannot.
We're in a law school class, everyone. This is what goes on.
I understand her argument, but her argument then opens up your ability to say, well, you know, I'm not really that comfortable with Latinas. I don't feel like I want to, I don't feel like I can really deliver your baby.
What if the Klan wants to come in and have a party in my restaurant? You say, you can come, but you can't wear those outfits.
This is like...
Yeah. What if you say that?
We gotta go. We'll be right back.
The View would like to thank Apple and Eve for providing our entire studio audience with a bottle of their delicious juice.
Welcome back. Oscar winner Jennifer Lawrence is usually, I guess, pretty mellow, but paparazzi just found out there's one line you can't cross with her. Take a look.
Hello, little doggy.
Touch my dog. Ooh. She's kind of, you know, she's a little mad. I understand it. What do you think?
Don't touch that bitch.
I don't.
You don't understand that?
I don't. I feel like kids, little babies sometimes, and dogs are pure joy. So I gravitate towards them on any street. I always ask for safety reasons. Can I touch your dog?
Okay, that's very important.
Well, that is because I wouldn't want to put a dog in a bad situation. Because if he bites me, he's in trouble.
That's the problem.
I wouldn't do that. And I wouldn't do it if someone's holding the dog up here, because I feel I'm invading their personal space. But when people love on my dog, I could never give my dog enough love if it was 24/7 in our bed together. She is so joyful that I trained her to be a therapy dog so someone else could love on her.
Starting to sound like a really weird relationship.
Joy, if you're just picking up on this weird relationship, you haven't been listening.
And it's a Chihuahua. You could put it right in your pocket.
She's a bigger Chihuahua. She's got girth.
She's a little meaty.
She's a little meaty. And I don't want you fat shaming her, so let's just not talk about it. But when people love on her, it makes me so happy because she starts going and getting excited. So I love it when people...
Your dog is good like that. See, I have a dog that doesn't respond that way. She gets terrified when you come. She's little, she's small. She's maybe 8 pounds. And when you approach her on the street and she's on the ground, she feels intimidated. And sometimes she runs, or she also... I hate to say it, but sometimes people approach the dog, their hands are dirty, they got food all over. and it's all of a sudden. One time I went home and my dog had cotton candy in her fur because someone had been eating. So I just, you know what I do? I say, she bites. I say she bites. Like that, and they go like this. I don't like it. If you ask
the best way to handle
that's
it.
different. If you kind of say, hey, can I pet the dog? And I take a look and you don't have cotton candy all over your fingers and you're not, and the dog looks calm, great. If you don't ask,
I'm not asking you to use a finger. You might want to go in with a question.
I don't know. I have 2 dogs, and people always say, does he bite? I'm like, he's a dog. He has teeth. I mean, he hasn't bitten anybody, but maybe he might bite
Maybe
you.
you're special.
Yeah, right? I just don't think you should just randomly touch dogs, because what happens is if they do bite you, and by the way, 4.5 million dog bites occur in the United States every year. 900,000 of those become infected. You know, you're going to get sued. I'm very risk averse. I don't want anybody to touch my dog.
as a general rule, don't do that with cats, because cats don't play. Cats don't play.
I'm getting a dog. That dog's feet are never going to touch the ground. That dog will be carried everywhere. And I'll be breastfeeding also.
You are so excited about this dog.
I am.
She's really excited. And he's very cute.
Is he skinny?
Yes.
Speaking of classics, Sprinkles Classic Cupcake is getting some star power this summer with the Elizabeth Taylor Red Velvet. And the proceeds are benefiting the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation. So bring these to your barbecue on the 4th or wherever you happen to be going. We're going right now because we got other stuff to do. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Julie Andrews, and coming up, I'll be talking to the ladies about a few of my favorite things, including my upcoming film, Despicable Me 3.
Look who's sharing the love.
I love you guys. I love the discussion.
I have so much respect for these ladies.
It's so amazing to meet you, Ms. Goldberg. It's so cool.
Everyone's buzzing about The View. Even the critics can't get enough. Killing it in its 20th season. It's The
View.
The View.
The View.
Bam, drop the mic.
On ABC.
You know, when you talk about a great, when people say this is an icon, this is a great, this woman, oh my God. Julie Andrews, beloved by so many in many iconic roles, Mary Poppins, The Princess Diaries, and then this summer she's showing off her bad side in Despicable Me 3. Please welcome one of my favorite people on the planet, Miss Julie Andrews.
Makes a girl feel awfully good.
So
at the beginning of the day.
Everybody loves Mary Poppins.
And you know, Victor Victoria, I mean, name it. It's
including me. I'm the lucky lady that was asked to do those great things, you know?
Yes. Yeah. And you now are doing something that I begged to be able to do.
What's that?
I asked Illumination. I kept saying, I've said it over all of, see, I get so upset my earrings fall out. You're in Despicable Me, which I also wanted to do, but I'm not upset. I'm really proud that it's you. Anyway,
That's a true friend.
That is, but you have been vocal in several areas about, you know, places you and the new guy might not agree, climate and nations' commitment to the arts. And you and your daughter Emma wrote an amazing op-ed about why the arts, we need to have it. What does he need to understand?
We only have a little bit. So.
Yeah. you had about 2 hours, I'd tell you. No, the arts are indispensable to all of us. I mean, there's this great Catherine Ann Porter quote, which is, I'll paraphrase, when all about you is lying in the dust, it will be the arts that will remind you who you were, who you are, and what matters, because they're always there. And, you know, people who engage... People who engage with the arts are better academically. They're more likely to read and read for pleasure as much as anything else. They could be elected to class office if you're in the arts. There's just such a stimulation from it. And there are so many other things where the entire community benefits from it. I cannot see why they're taking money away when it's so needed. They're the first thing to be cut in schools. The budgets have to change, and so schools cut the arts, which is very sad.
It is sad. There's been a lot of talk about the new Mary Poppins sequel with Emily Blunt. Did they come to you and talk to you about this?
There was talk about it, but I knew that Emily was going to do it, and I'm a huge fan of hers. And the truth is that this is not a remake of the Mary Poppins that I was in. They've had these other Mary Poppins stories in the vaults for years. And so they took them out and they've made a fresh new Mary Poppins, set the time a little differently, you know, it's a different era. And Emily's Mary Poppins now, and I think it's great.
Well, there's that wonderful story that Emma Thompson just did about the author of Mary Poppins' stories.
Yes, she did a wonderful film about
Mary
that.
Travers. Everybody should take a look at that. That's good.
P.L. Travers is this. She was quite a tartar. She really was. And,
a tart, did you say?
Quite a tartar, not a tart. No. No, she was tough, let me put it that way. And nothing was right, and she wanted to tell Mr. Disney what to do, and oh my goodness me. But everybody finally got along, and I met her, and she was fine.
Julie's Green Room is meant to teach kids about the importance of the arts. They were influential on your life at a young age, and because of this, you're also very philanthropic. You're doing all kinds of stuff.
Well, yes, I think when you're somebody as lucky as I have been and am, that you have to give back, and you should. And you eventually in your life you get... You get to an age where you say, okay, I now know, I think, a little bit more about who I am and what I want to do, and then you can afford to start being more generous. And it always bothered me that I wasn't doing enough. And so I started doing. Blake and I started international relief. Blake Edwards, I'm sorry. My lovely husband who's no longer with us. But he and I started an international relief agency called Operation USA. And it is one of the more, they don't charge overheads, they have very little outlay for an enormous input. And I'm so proud of them. They do work all over the world. And so that's a very, very good group. Look it up, Operation USA.
Well, I would love to talk about Despicable Me 3. You voice Gru's mother. And you're...
What are you laughing at?
She's this big.
Yeah.
Hair is all up in here.
Yes. Well, when they asked me to do it, I kept saying, are you sure you're talking to me? I'm the opposite of anything that you would imagine in real life. I'm so sort of horribly white bread, and the voice is so British, and I'm supposed to be Gru's awful
and you're
mother.
kind of mean in it.
I am horribly mean.
Horribly mean.
But it's delicious. It's such fun. It's important to keep active in one's golden years. There you are, you cutie, you. Oh! These are my diving instructors, Vincenzo and Paolo. Ciao, boys. So, what do you want?
Mom, do I have a twin brother?
How did you find out? Who told you?
Wait, what? It's true? You never told me I had a brother, and you told me that Dad died of disappointment when I was born.
Wow,
You do meme really well.
I do meme. Oh, at the beginning, the two little orphans that he adopts, they say, he looks like a little girl in this photograph, doesn't he? And this awful woman, his mother, says, yes, an ugly girl. It's just delicious and heaven to just feel free. And at my age, what do I got to lose?
Maybe it's cathartic.
It is cathartic, yeah, and it's delicious fun.
You can't come here often enough. You have to come back more and more.
I'd be very happy to, my darling.
Please do.
I need to see you all.
Yes.
Yeah.
We thank the legendary Julie Andrews. Despicable Me opens tomorrow. And the soundtrack is available now. And you know what? You know what? You're all getting the soundtrack of the movie. We'll be right back. That's right. You get the soundtrack.
Tomorrow, a View exclusive. Before he heads to the Supreme Court, the baker who refused to bake a wedding cake for a gay couple is making his case to the co-host. Is this a fight for religious freedom or freedom to discriminate?
So I saw everybody's face, and we were all sitting here like this. I mean, sometimes
that was cool.
It was kind of amazing, right?
That was.
It also brings out your inner child. You can hear her singing, and it's just. Well, if you're going to get beat out in a game, you always want to be beat by the state championships.
That's right.
So, like the champions, excuse me. So when you said she beat me, I was like, flattered.
Well, you know, it's just because I love the Despicable Me folks. But you know what? Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for watching. And we want you to have a great day and take a little time to enjoy the beer.